Yo, what's poppin', guys? In today's video, we've got the weather painters here, this time running only 3-dimensional fissure as our only floodgates. The rest of them are banned, of course, in the Theme Chronicle, so this was the opportunity that we had to go for a more engine-heavy approach, using hand traps as our non-engine. As you can see, we're running a bunch of the spell and traps that you normally wouldn't, and I'm running 2 copies of the Thundery canvas, and it's been going great. I have a few replays here to show you guys where I just grind really hard with this deck, and it was super enjoyable here. We even played through some back row removal and everything, and I have some tips to give you guys on things that I did wrong, where I was just too greedy, and it'll help you guys in future with your decision making for this deck as well, because if played optimally and in a low power format, this deck can definitely put the pressure on your opponents. So this is just basically a standard list. We have, of course, the 3 snow, 3 cloud, 3 thunder, and then we're going to be running 1 aurora here just as a beater and for some protection when the games get a bit grindier. And we have the rain in case we draw the traps or anything, or so we can search off of snowy canvas, and then when this comes back in the standby phase, we could just activate the trap right away to just get the thunder canvas into rotation as well. So there's some nifty little tricks you can do for the spells. We're of course on 3 of the field spell, 3 of the snowy, and then I'm running 1 rainy. If you want to, anti-spell is actually legal here. So that has good synergy with that. Otherwise, just really annoys back row decks. Also, like field spells or continuous spells that can only be activated once per turn. You can basically negate their on activation effect with these, or if they like activate something else. This card actually came up. This was an absolute lifesaver. This lets you target a monster in the field and have its attack, but then it gets to attack directly. And I actually couldn't out Final Sigma because Goddess isn't illegal here. So oh yeah, and I banished the Abramax off Prosperity in 1 game. You'll see in just a sec. But this allowed me to just keep attacking directly and actually still clutch out the win, so that was huge. Sunny Canvas is pretty much worthless, honestly. You can tribute another guy in addition to banishing your guy to revive someone, or a special one from the hand, but it's basically just fodder to make the links. Running 2 Thunder Canvas, because this is very important for our win condition. This helps us out monsters and everything. There's no kaijus in this format either, and if this just gets outed by like a banish or something, then we're kind of in trouble since we don't have like powerful floodgates to simplify the game state all too much. This is just really nice. Auroral Canvas can come up too if a card is searched, especially if it's like a 1-of or something. You can just banish it, and like they draw a card, but it usually just screws them over. And of course, we're on the 1 Rainbowed Canvas, a special another guy out from the deck. For the non-engine, of course, Max C is legal for no good reason at all, so we're running 3 of those. Ash to counter it. Not running the called by. You can, of course, if you wanted to. I instead opted for some copies of Nib and Infinite Impermanence, and perform pretty well. And we have 1 copy of Extra of Am Prosperity because they are legal, and it does really help with the consistency here. You can, of course, also use other consistency cards. But I think this was just enough. We're running more engine and everything, and we're not relying on the floodgates this way. In the extra deck, we have, of course, 3 of each of the painter. This only really matters for extra, otherwise you can totally get away with 2 rainbow and 1 moonbow if you're on a budget. We're running 3 of the moon. This just lets us out a whole ton of stuff because any 2 of our monsters go into this, and then we just tribute ourselves or some other fairy if we wanted to, which is any of the other weather painters, and then we just get to destroy a card our opponent controls. We also want a small package with the IP and the unicorn. We have a griffin to recycle some of our back row from the graveyard. Let's just go through our pots again, bring back a dimensional fissure with a turn delay though, and we can just also get back our traps if we wanted to. And of course, we're also on the Abramax. This is like the only good offensive link for it, to be honest, in this format, and this helps you beat some other big monsters. And for our rank 3, I'm on Cicada King here. We can also run Gossip Shadow. That's also super fine. You could run like 1/1 or something, and they're basically just there as monster negates. All right, let's get straight into the replays. Alrighty, here we get to go first. We're gonna rip the prosperity off the top here, and we're gonna reveal a whole bunch of cards. Here I was testing out the different dimension ground, but I decided to cut it in favor of hand traps. And for some reason, I get the wrong canvas. I meant to click on the field spell here, which would have just got me the rainy canvas and let me link here. So that was pretty awkward. But we're under maxi anyways, so I'm just gonna put out a redundant canvas here. We're gonna have to use this to search for the weather forecast, which is unfortunate. Otherwise, we could have searched for the cloud painter here and had just a bunch more cards on the field. But we're just gonna go for rainbow here. We got to set one, which is our thunder canvas here, and we're gonna sit on just a negate and the dimension fissure. Our opponent's gonna be on sword soul here. Going to normal summon out the effect barrier with the Ashina. And they go into Varum, the Magistus Divinity Dragon. So if this card is equipped by an equipped card, it can't be destroyed by spell traps, which doesn't really matter for us. But then if the Secret Summon card is destroyed, they get to destroy all of our face-up cards. And at the start of the damage step, if it battles someone, it gets to destroy it. So unfortunately, this is kind of an issue for our deck, also beating over us here. Fortunately, all these monsters are getting banished, so he doesn't actually get to use the graveyard effects. And here, I'm fearing he's going to go into one of the Sword Soul Synchros, even though they're probably all banned. But something like a Qixing Longyuan would have been a real nuisance, so we're playing around that by just using this early. And we're also flipping this trap up in case he does make it. Turns out it's not legal here, which I didn't know at the time, and he goes into Geomathemic Final Sigma, which is unaffected by card effects while in the extra monster zone. So that's kind of an issue here, but we do have a way to play around it. We're going to be grabbing our Cloud Weather Painter here. So when we link all of these dudes off, we're going to get to go into our Moonbow. Since I know I can't beat over this, only Abramax would have been able to be over this, but unfortunately we did banish it off of the Prosperity. It's gone forever. We also banished a copy of the Moonbow and a copy of the Rainbow. So we only have one more of the Rainbow left for negates, and one more Moonbow left as well after this one. So we're just gonna use this to summon out a guy. I'm going to opt for the Rainbow. This doesn't actually have an effect. It's just like any other normal weather painter. I don't get to use either its Solemn Judgment or a negate effect here. But we're going to use it just to get more damage here, and I realized I've messed up my zones a little bit. Cloudy Canvas probably should have been in the middle, to be honest. So we're going to start grabbing some guys back. And this is going to be our win condition, basically, where he's going to be forced to be over the EMZ guy. He's losing a bunch of his grind games due to Dimensional Fissure. And when the Moonbow gets destroyed, you get to summon out a Rainbow from your extra deck. So this stops him from playing on this turn as well, since we do have all these negates. And I'm just going to tag out all these guys so I can rearrange my zones, get the searches and everything. Probably could have done it in the end phase. Probably should have done it in the end phase, actually. And we're going to draw the rainbowed canvas here. Kind of awkward, but it's okay. And we should have had the snow be on the far left, so we can tag it out in the standby phase to let us attack directly here. And the game plan here is we attack directly, and then we tag that guy out to target someone else to attack directly. I was going to put the rainbow canvas right where it is already, so we can tag out a guy in the right columns and put him into the left columns, so we can use the cloudy canvas to let someone else attack directly again. And here our opponent, kind of between a rock and a hard place here, going to be forced to go battle phase first action to be over our rainbow in the extra monster zone, and we filled up 12 zones. That's pretty wild, actually. Our grind game is super online, completely out resourcing our opponent here. Gonna go grab even more follow-up. We even got out the Aurora for some protection here. Different dimension ground, not really doing much. And we're going to use this in the standby phase to let an additional monster attack directly already. And I'm pretty sure I could have chained this a bit better. but it really doesn't matter since we have to swing directly with a whole ton of monsters here. And we're going to get to use this one a final time, and our last monster that attacks is going to go for lethal here. So this shows how we can play around the towers. We don't even need to out them. Each of our canvases has a unique niche that it fills, and this one was to close out the games in this case. Alright, in this game we're going to go second, but we do have a Nibiru. Our opponent is going to pass back because it doesn't look like their deck is doing too well in this event. And here we have a decision to make, and I made the wrong one. I should have summoned the Cloud. I was contemplating, do I summon Cloud here or Rain? And the argument for Cloud is if our opponent has like a Raigeki or, a Harpy's Feather Duster or a Lightning Storm to clear our back row, we don't care because Cloud will just reset it, right? Unfortunately, I was too greedy thinking, nah, surely there's no way they have that, right? But of course they have to be working on something. So thinking about it logically, I definitely should just summon out the Cloud. I wanted to have it for next turn, since I can protect the Rain by just tagging it out with the Cloudy if they try to be over it. And I also have the Thunder canvas here. So the next turn, summoning Cloud just gets me negate live and all my back row back. So it's just a greedy play. Should have definitely summoned the Cloud here, and we're going to get punished for it right away as well. Since our opponent does actually turn out to have the Lightning Storm here, I'm going to flip the different dimension ground to just floodgate them a little bit. Fortunately, this does turn skip them for us. And we do happen to draw the Snowy Canvas, which is great. We get to poke for a bit of damage here. Get our weather forecast out. And we're going to use it, and they just maxi us here. So I decide to pass. I have the Nibiru. We have some guys coming back. No need to give him the draws if he's already bricking the whole time. And it looks like they're on Plunder Patrol. I'm going to pitch the Bigfoot to out my field spell. And I bring back the Cloudy Canvas here. I'm not sure this was worth it, to be honest, since they do have ways to get rid of my other background. But I didn't think they would get it live. And they only really have Fireship. And that one banishes. So it wouldn't really have mattered anyways. Of course, they're going to go into the Jord here, and then they're going to give us a token. And most likely it's just going to be a light token. But it turns out they go for fire in this game. Because they do want to just get rid of my back row. And on this summon here, this was actually their 5th summon. So Nibiru is live here. And I'm contemplating if I should hold it or not. I don't have any lights in rotation. So what my thought process was here, if I use Nibiru now and he chains the link, then it also gets distributed right off the bat. So I don't really care. Of course, I can tag out both of my painters here. He does, however, have a way to get the golden hair back and then just make another link. So I probably should have just held it. Should let him extend as far as possible and then just hit him with Nibiru. And we're going to tag all these guys out, have his attack so the token gets smaller. And we're going to add a snow for follow-up next turn. And they're going to pitch the Effect Veiler, which we can usually just dodge, so it doesn't really matter all too much. But it's still a good thing to get it out of their hand. And they're going to go for a ton of plays here. For some reason, running through a ton of their links. But it turns out they wanted to get Ash Blossom into Grave in order to get the brand out anyways, getting rid of my follow-up here, which doesn't matter since we have the snow. But they're going to clear my board and then pass it back to me. So our draw for turn here is going to be Max C. Kind of unfortunate, but we get to use it here when they tag out into the Monster Negate, getting the Ash Blossom, which really crushes the deck. I can use Ash Blossom to actually negate any of their ships because they do search for follow-up. They banish the Thundery Canvas, so it's a really good thing we're actually on 2 copies. And right here, I'm just waiting for them to do stuff. He's giving me another draw, which didn't really matter since it was a trap. But I'm just trying to bait out his list so I can just Ash it. Activate a ton of effects here. I have the weather forecast going on. I'm just going to set another back row here, and we're going to get rid of all of those here. That way we get our negate and Cloud can bring back some of the cards. Now there's 3 I would want back. It's the Thunder and the Cloudy and of course our Snowy Canvas. And here I decide to not actually Ash the list since I would still have to out it anyways. So I might as well just use the negate on it. He doesn't have anything else that actually really matters. So we're going to just negate the negate because this also destroys. And here's going to tag out into another ship, but then he's going to surrender. Since we have a really good game state here going on for us, we get to clear his whole board since we are going to just have his attack and beat over his big monster. And then we still have all those negates left. So yeah, pretty nice game here. This game is kind of awkward. We do open a double fissure and the maxi, which is of course not the best. However, we also have the Thunder Painter here to save us. We're going to get rid of the fissure or the snowy canvas, which will get us into the weather forecast. And we can use this to go grab the thunder canvas for protection. And I'm going to hope that the dimensional fissure is enough. Otherwise, maxi would have been nice. And it turns out it is enough, because if we do go ahead and look at their deck here, they were playing plants, which apparently gets hurt a lot by fissure. Maybe they just didn't have a way to play either. Don't forget the Sun Avalons are kind of out of this game here because of the Theme Chronicle event ban list. And I think Maxi would have also just crushed them just as much. However, my reasoning was there's more outs to Maxi that they could have possibly had than there are really outs to the fissure. It was kind of a toss-up. If they had like back row removal, I'd probably just lose instantly anyways. So maybe they should have been on the duster here. But yeah, just a quick game showing why you still should run Floodgates. And for our final game, we get to go first. We have the Pot of Extravagance here. So that's pretty nice because just draw 2 cards. And if we're going to go ahead and check the banished cards, we'll see we lost 2 copies of the Moonbow and 1 of the Rainbow. This is why we're running 3 of each. And of course, we're going to use our nice Royal Rare to grab the other one. We're going to get rid of the fissure here, so we have to set up a nice board. We're going to just go ahead and grab some redundant back row we don't care about, so we can just sack those. And that'll get us into our link. Using spell traps, we don't mind. And we still have the Thunder Canvas here, of course. Unfortunately, Aurora in hand, not the best. We're going to go ahead and negate the Imperm here. This is why it's important to try to keep 1 Weather Painter on the field before ending your turn. Since they did play correctly to negate our Weather Painter here before the guys come back in standby phase. So if both of them had tagged out, this would have been negated and couldn't give the negate effect off. And we're going to get Harpy's Feather dustered here. And it turns out we're actually playing a mirror match here. And since they do use the Snowy Canvas and commit their normal summon to the Thunder Painter and then use it to surge, I'm pretty sure they're really just hard lacking follow-up. They need access to the field spell here, so we're going to Ash it here. And it turns out this wasn't actually a bait and they do surrender. So what did we learn from this? Play my list instead of theirs. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a ton of fun playing this actually. It's always so fun when your deck doesn't get carried by just broken mechanics. And you actually get to play the deck the way it was meant to be enjoyed. So you can feel free to tweak some of the ratios of the non-engine, maybe throw in another Sun Painter or something if you really want to. There's some interesting lines you can do with it, but I don't really feel like they're worth the hassle necessarily. I didn't want to give up on the fissure here, since it has such nice synergy with the Thunder Painter and it just buys you a turn most of the time. But the other Floodgates really aren't necessary. As you can see, we had some crazy grind game. We even got up to 12 cards on the field, which is pretty much the most cards you can get. You can actually get up to 13 if you extra link, but that's not really a feasible thing in this deck. So I had a ton of fun making this video, and I hope you guys have a ton of fun in the event playing the Weather Painters. See you in the next one.